Hello, welcome to the Home Brister. Anybody that has spoke to me on the phone or has emailed me asking for advice, they would have come across my admiration for the DF range of grinders. In my experience of using a range of different grinders, all the way from the Niche Zero, all the way to the E37S Ciedo, soon as I started using the DF range, that's it. They all kind of were sold on. I have got a niche in the corner there that is just used for taste comparisons when customers come in. The marketing of the niche is phenomenal. However, when it comes to taste, when customers have tasted the DF and the niche, every single customer has walked off with the DF64 when I've compared just those two. Obviously, I've now expanded my range of DF grinders that I sell. The build quality is, for the price of each particular one, is exceptional. All the build quality of the DF54, the 64 and the 83 are all built around the same chassis. Really good motors in there. When I've taken them apart, it is absolutely quality. The heaviness of it as well does showcase that. So we start off here with the DF54. So it's got 54mm burrs. These are steel burrs. The only thing I don't like about it is the plastic cup that used to be in the DF64 range, but now that's kind of been upgraded. But I do like the little seat that it sits in, enabling it to get as close up to that spout as possible, so you can have it be nice and clean. Single dose grinders for me it's a no-brainer for home use. So you end up with fresh coffee each time. I kind of weigh my beans out every weekend for the family. So little 18-gram pots that I weigh because I like, I use an 18-gram basket. So I weigh them all out for the family, and then it's simply just take the lid off, pour in, and then grind. So it's very, very simple for the rest of the family to use. And you know as well that you are getting 18 gram out. On the test that I've done, certainly when I've used a little spritz of water as well, you know, you're looking at 18 grams, 17.9 every single time. Without using the spritz of water, you know, sometimes it'll be 17.8, 17.7, some 18. So that little spritz of water does help. So we start off here with the kind of probably the budget one, but again, great for espresso. It's the dial that you kind of dial in is nice and large, so you can actually see all the kind of marks that you can use, and that'll range from your pour overs, but mainly I use them for espresso. But great quality. I don't think there's anything that can beat that in the price range that it has for quality of espresso, quality of grind, and the quality of build. The next one is kind of the one that I swapped my niche out for, is the DF64. Again, this has gone through many generations now, and they've just improved it each time. I do like the little dosing collar, so you can actually get your portafilter, pop that on there, and then pop that in there, and you get straight into, if you prefer to go straight into your portafilter there. So again, a nice little touch that they have done. However, you can use it like that, grind into the cup, and then that cup fits perfectly when you then sit over there, and then, you know, you can then give it a shake, use your WD-T, and then you're away to make your coffee. So as I mentioned before, I weigh all the beans out for the family for the whole week. So little 18-gram pots that I use. You know, there's a range of different pots, some nice and smart test tube ones. I keep it nice and simple and cheap. But 18 grams, because I use an 18-gram basket. And then it's basically the family member just comes along, pours in, and then grinds, and we're getting 18 gram out every single time, or near enough 18 grams. So sometimes 17.9, 17.8, but generally the consistency of what comes out is exceptional. The collar of this for dialing in is again nice and big, so you can actually get your espresso grind quality. If you want to move to, you know, your mocker or your filter, you know, you can do that as well. But it allows for small adjustments for dialing in your different types of beans as well. So I do like that. Some grinders that I've come across have got a very, very small dial here to dial in. And I don't know how you can be as accurate as you can be with these range here that have got that big dial that you can dial in on. Again, accessing the burrs is really easy. You just take off this collar and then you've got access to the burrs. The DF64, the DF83 and the DF83V, they do come with DLC burrs standard. It's only the DF54 that comes with the steel burrs. So again, and they have been rated very, very highly. If you look at certain comparisons of people on YouTube, they say that the DLC burrs are coming out very, very similar to the SSP burrs. So you know, some good quality that they are. So we've got the DF64 there, which I think is a phenomenal grinder for whatever coffee machine you've got, and certainly for home use. If you can stretch a little bit for the budget one, that is a phenomenal grinder that you'll probably be happy with for year after year after year after year. Again, the build quality of them is exceptional. They do last a long time. So, you know, it'll be lasting years and years and years before you ever need to think about getting a different grinder. The beauty as well of these three grinders here, the 64mm and the 83mm, again, should you want to change burrs for different pour types, or you want to go down the SSP route, you know, you can easily get a range of different burrs for those there. The next one up is the DF83. Again, build quality very much like the 64, with the little dosing cup as well, and the cup that it comes with. Again, those 83mm burrs just allow you to get that grind a little bit more uniform, but the speed of it is phenomenal. The DF83 does actually come with, it does come actually with, so you can actually get rid of the dosing collar, and you can actually use a hopper should you want to. Again, for a cafe, yes. For home use, you know, the use of bellows is, I think, pretty vital. So you're getting that 18 gram out every single time. Again, exceptional build quality, exceptional burrs, and this is currently the one in my kitchen, the 83. I've had the 64 for a long time in there, but I kind of moved up a little to give it a whirl in the kitchen. So that's what's sitting in my kitchen at the moment, the 83, but the 64 was for a long while. The next on the line is the DF83V. Now, again, this has gone through a totally different style of build. This one has. Again, the dial is again really intuitive here, but they've done some really smart things with this. Again, the cup is magnetic. Again, this little collar here that goes on is also magnetic. So it just, you know, so should you want to grind into different things, your portafilter. Again, you've got your bellows. Again, to get access to the burrs, you just spin the collar off and you can access those burrs really simple. This comes with a pre-breaker as well, so when you put your beans in here, it actually starts to break up those beans before the burrs start to do their job, so which will increase the uniformity of grind, so the quality of espresso there. And again, really simple to actually switch to some SSP burrs. So this comes with, so you turn on this side, and it's got a little dial here at the side, so you can actually control the speed of the grinder here, of the motor. Again, so should you want to run some beans at a lower speed, therefore less heat, and therefore enhancing the quality of grind there. So you pop them in there. Again, there's different ways you can do this. Quite a lot of grinders sometimes have, when you do a cold start, certainly on a low setting, 800 revs per minute. Sometimes they can, it can jam the motor, not necessarily jam the motor, but stall the motor. What I've found when using this one though, even on cold starts, I've not yet done it yet. People do say if you've got really light roast beans, that it can have issues with some single dose grinders. We're on low speed settings that it can jam, but I've not experienced that yet. However, you can do a hot start where you get the motor running, and then whilst the motor running, you pop your beans in, and then that eradicates all any stalling there. Again, the stalling is just to protect the motor, so it doesn't damage the motor. Lastly, when using these things here, the DF range, when you are, I mainly use it for espresso, so I just, I can dial this in pretty easily. Normally it takes me from a new bag of coffee, 1 or 2 coffees, and then I have dialed in my my new fresh beans. But when you are going from, let's say, filter or mocha, when you're moving from, just advice really, from any different grinder that you may have, when you go from a fine setting to a coarse setting, it doesn't matter. You can have the that motor off and the grinder off whilst you do that. However, it's always good for the longevity of your grinder. Whenever you're going to make some large adjustments from coarse or to fine, it's always good to have that motor running, so that should there be any beans left in between the burrs, you're not going to kind of jam it together as you tighten it, getting finer and finer. So any advice for any different grinder that you have, when moving from fine to coarse, you're fine. But when going from coarse to fine, then just have that motor running, just to protect the burrs and protect that motor from stalling there. But again, incredibly easy to dial in, and these are, whichever budget you've got, it would be hands down my preference would be for you to have one of go down the DF route. The build quality, the quality of espresso that it produces, the quality of the motor, and generally the ability as well to swap those burrs there. So just a fantastic range of grinders. Should you have any questions, should you want any advice about these, do get in touch at the Home Baristas. My email address or my phone number is at the bottom of the page from my website. So I hope you like a little bit of intro here to the DF range.